In this video, we will have a detailed analysis of the strategic partnership between India and France. Both countries established diplomatic relations in 1947 itself, but the strategic partnership officially began only in 1998 when both countries signed a joint statement on strategic partnership. Since then, the relationship has evolved significantly over the last 2.5 decades. Now let's see the key areas of cooperation between the two. The defense partnership between India and France has been one of the most significant areas of collaboration. France has been one of the India's most reliable suppliers of military hardware, with India purchasing French fighter jets, submarines and helicopters. It became the second largest defense supplier in 2017 to 2021. Let's see some of the examples for crucial defense deals and military engagements. 6 Scorpene class submarines built under Project 75 by Mumbai MDL. It is under the technology transfer from Naval Group of France under the deal signed in October 2005. It is a major milestone for Make in India initiative. The fifth one in the list, INS Vergir, was commissioned on 23rd January this year. The Indian Air Force received 36 Rafale fighter jets from France by December 22. Recently, the Tata Group tie-up with Airbus to manufacture C-295 tactical transport aircraft in Vadodara is another important deal. India and France also conduct joint military exercises regularly. Bilateral military exercise began in the three services with navies in 2001, followed by the Air Force in 2004 and armies in 2011. It has become a regular feature now. The ongoing Orion 2023 is the first overseas exercise for India's Rafale aircraft. It is the largest exercise held by France in recent times. It involves around 12,000 troops, including those from NATO, and it is held in 4 phases. It highlights the growing importance of India in the international arena and its close tie with key allies like France. Both India and France have evolved as a significant strategic actors in the Indian Ocean. Their partnership also provides a model for East-West cooperation in the Indo-Pacific. Both countries have significant interest in the Indian Ocean region. India, with its long coastline, nearly 1,400 islands, and 2 million square kilometers of exclusive economic zone, is a key participant in the region. About 80% of the country's crude oil consumption is imported across the Indian Ocean. France has overseas possessions of Mayotte and Reunion Islands, as well as a substantial exclusive economic zone and military bases of Djibouti and Abu Dhabi. Due to this, India and France have vested interest in ensuring peace and stability in the IOR. China's expansionist activities in the Indian and Pacific Oceans continues to provoke France's strategic interest. In recent years, France has been particularly concerned about China's provocation of European nations. To address this, France became one of the first European governments to define an Indo-Pacific policy. Macron has emphasized how France's Indo-Pacific strategy will not be determined by the binary power competition between the USA and China. Rather, Paris will seek to practically engage based on the shared interests and concerns while also prioritizing the diversification of partners. President Macron suggested formulation of a new alliance, the Paris-Delhi-Canberra axis, involving France, India and Australia, to aid the joint vision of 3 like-minded countries for Indo-Pacific. Interestingly, this was proposed by Macron in his speech at Garden Islands in Australia in 2018. Macron has further emphasized the need for stakeholders in Indo-Pacific to be mindful of China's overtones. Australia, India and France are located in the Indian Ocean in a very unique way, covering the contours of the ocean space. However, there was instances of divergence between Australia and France in the aftermath of the formation of AUKUS, and there was a nullifying of pre-existing defense deal between France and Australia. But the ties between India and France did not wither. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Macron reiterated the need for finding new and innovative ways to ensure a free and open Indo-Pacific. In 2021, India joined the French flagship naval exercise La Pérouse for the first time. India joined the cohort with other three Quad countries, Australia, Japan and the US, prompting the speculation of a Quad plus France formulation. In the recent years, there has been significant progress in India-France maritime security cooperation with a focus on Indian Ocean region. The two governments agreed on a joint strategic vision for Indo-France partnership in Indian Ocean area in March 2018. India and France in September 22 agreed to set up an Indo-Pacific Trilateral Development Corporation Fund that will support sustainable, innovative solutions for countries in the Indo-Pacific region. The two partners have formed a trilateral grouping with the United Arab Emirates to ensure security from east coast of Africa to the far Pacific. France was among the first countries with which India signed a civil nuclear deal. Paris also played a critical role in limiting India's isolation in the Non-Proliferation Order after the 1998 nuclear test. It is the only Western country that did not support international sanctions against India. Now let's see how France supported India at the international forum. France has backed India's permanent candidature at UN Security Council as well as the G8. In addition, France is also a part of India-France-Australia trilateral dialogue that support free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. France has provided consistent support for India's membership in all the four multilateral export control regimes. France's support was vital in India's accession to the Missile Technology Control Regime, the Wassenaar Arrangement and the Australia Group. It continues to support India's bid for the accession to the NSG. Another most important area of cooperation is climate change. Both countries are concerned about climate change. Their leadership in the International Solar Alliance, which was launched in 2015, demonstrate their commitment to climate change. France and India founded the International Solar Alliance alongside the COP21, and it is now working all over the world. India has supported France in the Paris Agreement, expressing its strong commitment to mitigating the effect of climate change. The two parties also declared 2021 to 22 as the Indo-French Year of the Environment, with 5 major themes: environmental protection, climate change, biodiversity conservation, sustainable urban development, and the development of renewable energies and energy efficiency. Now let's see the space cooperation. Another important area of cooperation is space. France has supported India's space programs since its inception. France helped in setting up the Sriharikota launch site and also shared the Viking rocket technology in the 1970s. India and France have continued to strengthen their cooperation in the field of space in recent years. In 2020, the Indian Space Research Organization and the French National Center for Space Studies established a joint working group to further enhance their cooperation in the field of space. In the same year, ISRO and CNES announced plans to collaborate on a joint Mars mission in the near future. Collaboration on space debris is another area. India and France has also been working together on addressing the issues of space debris. In 2021, ISRO and CNES announced plans to collaborate on a joint Earth observation mission, which will involve the development of a satellite to study the Earth's atmosphere and climate. Trade is another area of cooperation between the two nations. France has emerged as the key trading partner of India with annual trade of $12.42 billion in the year 2021 to 22. France is the 11th largest foreign investor in India in the past 2 decades. It represents 1.7% of the total foreign direct investment inflows into India. Now let's see the relationship between India and France during the Russia-Ukraine crisis. While there are divergences over the Ukraine crisis, there is a broad understanding of each other's position and both countries are working together to coordinate on playing constructive role in the crisis. It is also to be noted that Mr. Macron and Prime Minister Narendra Modi are among a few world leaders who have maintained open communication channels with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukraine President Zelensky. The bilateral relation also include working against terrorism. India and France have consistently condemned terrorism and have resolved to work together for adoption of a comprehensive convention on international terrorism in the UN. During the visit of President Macron to India in March 2018, India and France reaffirmed their strong determination to eliminate terrorism everywhere. Now we will see why the Indo-French relationship is significant for both countries. India required the support of France for maintaining the stability and security of Indo-Pacific region and countering the growing Chinese aggression. France has always stood by India, beginning with 1998 when India conducted nuclear tests. Both nations share a high degree of mutual trust that allows them to cooperate on bilateral and multilateral issues. France's support will be crucial for India's entry into UNSC and the NSG. The cooperation between them can be helpful to achieve the goals of the Paris Agreement and in implementing the Glasgow Climate Pact. It also helps in checking Russia's assertiveness in Europe and China's assertiveness in Asia, thereby ensuring the global stability and world order. Although there is mutual cooperation in vast areas, there are also some challenges in the relation. Many projects that have been negotiated between the countries have not been operationalized. For instance, the Jaitapur nuclear project have been stalled and is facing a lot of domestic impediments. While the governments share a robust relationship, the business relations are very weak. Bilateral trade is less than half of India's trade with Germany. There is no progress being made on the India-EU broad-based trade and investment agreement. India has been criticized by France for not adequately protecting intellectual property rights, which has affected French business operating in India. There is a trade imbalance between India and France. It has been a source of concern for India, and both countries are looking for ways to address it. France and India have different stand on Russia-Ukraine conflict. France has openly criticized the Russian invasion. India has a more restrained stance on the conflict. The difference in the response have not impacted the bilateral relationship till now. But if the conflict gets prolonged, then it might impact the India-France relationship as well. Despite a strong defense partnership, the two countries have different priorities and approaches towards defense and security cooperation. India's focus on its neighborhood and its non-aligned policy can sometimes clash with France's global interests. China's increasing dominance in Indian Ocean region has become a source of concern for both India and France, as it has the potential to disrupt the regional balance of power and undermine regional stability and security. Even though there are such challenges, what makes the bilateral ties between the two states truly unique is that India's partnership with France also leveraged New Delhi to seek similar such partnership with other European players. India can leverage its good relationship with France and convert to the idea of India-EU BTIA into reality. Both the Indian Prime Minister and French President have a good relationship with the President of Russia. Therefore, they can jointly work to bring the war in Europe to an end. Both countries can create better options for small countries in the Indo-Pacific region and enable them to make sovereign and free choices. A joint working group can be created to complete the stalled projects by duly addressing the reasons hindering their completion. India and France are fully committed to pursuing the implementation of the Partnership Agreement on Migration and Mobility, which entered into force on 1st October 2021. Both sides will also continue to work jointly to increase the mobility of students, graduates, professionals, and skilled workers while strengthening their efforts to combat irregular migration. The two countries can also work towards increasing bilateral trade and investment. This can be done through measures like setting up joint ventures, expanding trade agreements, and promoting cross-border investment. Encouraging cultural exchange between the two countries through programs like student exchange, arts and cultural events, and language programs can help them to deepen the relationship and foster mutual understanding. India and France can work together to address the global challenges of climate change and energy security. So, we can conclude that this relationship is not limited to a strategic partnership alone. In recent years, it has been broadened to form a partnership on major global challenges such as climate, environment, protecting oceans, health, etc. Both countries are also continuing to strengthen their trade and investment in the areas of clean energy, smart cities, and new technologies and health. As France and India celebrate the 25th anniversary of their strategic partnership, now it is the time to show even greater ambitions for both countries. I hope this video is informative. Keep watching.